We are back with Keep or Cut, but this time I'm joined by my good buddy Stephen.
Hello, I'm Stephen Campbell. How is everybody?
Let's get into today's punchies. I actually tried this one tonight, and it sort of upset people, but that I had a pet rabbit, and rabbits are terrible pets because they're so skittish. Having a pet rabbit is like having a dog that got molested.
Okay.
And I feel implicated by it. Whenever anybody sees my rabbit being like, I'm like, he was like that when I got him. I didn't do that to him. So Grandma's Colostomy Bag, or as I call it, the Devil's Fanny Pack, that did okay. Then, so there's this scene in Iron Man 2 that reminded me of maybe I would phrase it as like my attitude if I had a colostomy bag. But so Iron Man's drunk in the Iron Man suit, and he's talking to a crowd of people, and he goes, people always ask me, how do I go to the bathroom in the suit? And then he pauses for a beat, and he goes, that's how. And then the crowd goes like nuts, and I'm like, okay, is the crowd cheering because he just like pissed himself? Are they like, this guy just took a shit, like it's like a party, and he just shit in front of them, and they go nuts.
I think you want to see that billionaires are human too. You know, if Bezos were to take a diarrhea on the side of a pool, that would raise some eyebrows. They want to see that
that's people sucking up to billionaires. Like if Bezos came out, Bezos came out and was just like, guys, I can shit and just took an actual shit in his suit.
Yeah,
his employees would be like, damn, what an alpha. Another thing about the colostomy bag, that just like using a colostomy bag for self-defense, that you'd be like a legend, like Batman, where criminals would be like looking over their shoulder. You know, they're like, it's not real. Like, no, if we do crimes, we'll get an old lady will shit in our face or whatever.
It's a easy point for one of these things. If you want to use your mic as a little bit of a prop.
Oh, sure.
Do a little loop around. Like that's your colostomy bag.
It kind of reminds me the way I feel like you have to use it too. Maybe like a David and Goliath thing.
I'd always be so scared
with the sling.
I'd always be so scared. I've never done anything like that with a mic.
I've got bits about. So the premise is, if suicide's not funny, then how come some people do it in the bathtub with a toaster? That's funny. And then I just defend why each element of that is hilarious. But the new line I have is that like that's how Wile E. Coyote would kill himself after finally catching the Roadrunner and realizing it didn't make him happy. He's like, I didn't hate the Roadrunner, I hate myself. And then on the suicide note, he just writes beep beep or whatever.
Wait, okay, sorry. Beep beep.
That's the thing Roadrunner used to say.
I know, but Roadrunner's killing itself?
That's why, okay, it's supposed to be like Coyote, and he's doing it in sort of deference to Roadrunner, but I could see why that get confusing.
But Coyote would say there would be things on his...
Oh, you know how he always had those signs?
Yeah.
Maybe that would be the suicide thing. It would just be like, ouch or whatever.
Yeah, ouch would be a good one, or just like...
Or maybe it's a sincere suicide note written on one of those silly signs.
Yeah, life is all manufactured.
Yeah. That's funny. I'm going to write that.
He's
so
clearly has suicidal tendencies. He's jumping on top of rockets. He's going under fucking boulders. He's always putting his life in danger and then getting crushed. Mm-hmm. And what sort of pain would it be to be trying to kill yourself and you just get flattened and then go and then you go and then you blow yourself up?
Yeah, he's like, some days I don't even want to blow my thumb.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's funny.
You know, what kind of hell is that?
The main thing I just worked on today, though, the child labor. People don't like child labor. But it's like, when you don't support child labor, you're not ending child labor. You're just creating unemployed child labor. Now they have to get a new child. Yeah. So I go into the interview, and I had some interview tags where the interviewer was like, oh, I see you have 8 years of experience. Oh, I'm sorry, that's 8 years of existing or being alive, something like that. And then the one I have right now that hits is, what's your greatest weakness? And he's like, my bones.
Yeah, that's good.
Zach wrote that. And then maybe like the interview is like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And just a single tear rolls down the kid's cheek. I'm so depressing today.
No, it's okay. It's fun to write out that sort of stuff. Start at the front. You are pitching the audience on you should not be upset about child labor.
But it's that you're not going to end it. You're just going to throw more obstacles in the way of these child laborers.
Sure. So keep that the whole way through.
They have it hard enough without your meddling.
You're also trying to paint a picture of like a labor flow of children. Where would children go from child labor?
Being dead, probably?
No. Like, what would the job be? Like, what is the... If not hard labor with your little fingers that you're able to sew things, what are some other opportunities that somebody with that skill set would... Right?
Slave, food for other kid.
Food for other kid.
It's so depressing.
Well...
It's a tough market for those child laborers.
Yeah, shout out to child laborers. There's gangs that they could join. This is...
Oh, that's maybe... Yeah, maybe... I can only pitching that as like a hopeful... You know, it's not... Yeah. You can always join a gang, you know? There's opportunities out there.
And then describe Peter Pan's crew.
So anyway, people are upset about child labor because you imagine the bosses are adults, but you don't know. Maybe the executives are children. You pitch me on like, okay, if the executives were children, a couple tags, like our sweatshop has no homework and extra recess. Pay still 17 cents a day, but that's not exploitation. That's a Disney Channel original. So maybe those 2 tags in there before Disney Channel original hit the premise more. And then I tried to write some tags for Disney Channel original, The Sweet Life of the Cobalt Mines. We're just 2 regular kids, but we live in the cobalt mines. Zach's too messy. Cody's too neat, but it doesn't matter because they're both just so damn hungry. And then maybe another episode about Cody wanted to go to the dance with Stacy, but she and her family were disappeared by the regime for being dissidents or something. Something just awful.
All of it is dark.
Do you want to work on a bit?
I typically write with a story and then try to throw jokes off of the story, so one through line. But when I got to Texas, I could not find weed. And I was living in Austin, and I couldn't find weed, and I finally found it, and I was so excited, and I went on my balcony to smoke the weed, and I blew smoke out, and I was so excited, and then I was attacked by hornets. And I was just a ton of hornets just swarmed me, and I ran inside and I closed my balcony door, and the hornets were throwing their bodies against the thing. And in my head, I was like, there's weed smelling hornets in Texas. That's like in my head, I was very certain that was what it was, and I was like, there's weed,
like Blue Lives Matter hornets,
right? Like the war on drugs has got too crazy.
Yeah,
and this is
in Texas, even the bugs are Republicans,
right? This is the propaganda they would have told somebody from New York so they don't go to Texas. And I was so scared. And then
that's funny that the hornets only sting liberals in Texas.
Yeah, right. And then I called my landlord. I was like, we got hornets, you need to take care of it. And I realized after I calmed down that the nest was right there, and I was blowing smoke directly into a hornet's nest. And so then I was still just like, yo, you gotta get rid of it, because you can't knock a hornet's nest off from a balcony because you need space. You need to run away from it afterward. And so I finally made the landlord come. And then there was a bunch of people outside, a bunch of Texans, and she was like, "Oh, Stephen, those are just mud daubers. Those are mud daubers are hornet cousins."
I saw a picture. They look exactly like hornets.
Yeah, they don't sting. And everyone laughed at me. I know that story in itself is not funny all the way, but there are a lot of things that come off of it and branch off of it that I'm trying to add into it.
I mean, maybe an angle like making fun of that. Like, you think like that they're laughing at you. It's like you're laughing because you know a lot about bugs.
About mud daubers. Keep saying mud daubers because they're called mud daubers.
Yeah.
And that could be very funny in that I do a lot of stuff that you're just like, oh, maybe that's not as funny. He just keeps saying it in a silly way.
I mean, mud daubers is a ridiculous.
Mud daubers. Just like, wait, you're laughing at me? You know about mud daubers.
And also, they made it up. Like, clearly that was made up in Texas.
Yeah.
Whatever this bug is called has a name, and it's not mud dauber.
Yeah, right. You guys are getting together and laughing about mud daubers. You guys are fucking pathetic.
About the bug that you made up.
Kill the mud daubers. Exterminate the mud daubers in front of me. Don't you laugh at me.
Also, I think we talked about this, but like one thing at like the end of the story where you sort of realize like, oh, I didn't get stung once. That's peculiar.
Yes, that is
How
funny.
Did that happen? I thought I was just like dodging them.
Yeah, but still exterminate them.
Yeah.
They've embarrassed me.
That's funny. Keep or cut. Thanks so much. Comment. Was any of this usable? What'd you like? What'd you not like? Thanks so much for watching.